Hello. So here you can see the prompt on my laptop machine. If you followed all of the above steps fully, you should now have a build machine running in the Exoscale cloud with the Agile Deployment Toolkit installed upon it, and the machine should have been secured fully. So what I need to do is to log into that build machine. So if I look on my Exoscale cloud system, I can find the IP address of the machine, and back on my laptop I can SSH onto that machine as follows. And then I need to do a sudo with the password that I've set, and then I can see my Agile Deployment Toolkit installed there. So if I cd into the Agile Deployment Toolkit, I can see all the main files of the Agile Deployment Toolkit. Now, the template that we've created in the previous steps is installed in this directory. So if we just have a look in there and then go into the templates directory and then Exoscale, then we can see the template that we have just created located there. If I do a quick head command on it, then I can see that it's configured to install Joomla version 4.0.4 onto my Exoscale cloud system. The credentials that are beneath that in the file are all sensitive, so that's why I don't reveal them in this tutorial. So back to the root directory, and I can see here the file that I want to run for an expedited build. So if I run that through the shell, which will pick up this file, then I can just review the different options that it presents to me. So I want to use a Debian 11 instance for my server machines, so I select that there. I want to deploy to Exoscale, so I select option 2. It then shows me the password if I want to access backups of my build machine at any point, so I need to take a note of that password, that one there. So I could just, having done that, forward on. So I now give it a build identifier, and then this describes the template that I'm installing with some various bits of information about it. So the bit we're really interested in is this part at the bottom here, which says if we want to use template 1, which we do, then enter that as the template ID, otherwise press enter to review later templates like template 2 and template 3. So we want to use template 1, so you put a 1 in there. I don't want to set up any SMTP settings, although obviously in a real world situation you would want to. And I don't want to review how the environment is set because that contains my secret passwords and that. And then I just start the build process. So that's the basic, that's how simple it is once you've got everything configured to actually start building your web servers and databases. The main part of this toolkit is the initial configuration that you need to go through for setting up your build machine. But with practice that becomes very straightforward. So it just tells me that this is going to be a regular style build with no snapshots used, and then the actual build process for real begins. So if I just wait a couple of seconds, I should see in my Exoscale console that a web server starts to be deployed, and there you can see that. So That build process will take 5 or 10 minutes to run through and build the web server and the database, as well as provision a SSL certificate for the website. And so I'll stop the video there and resume once the build is complete. So once the build is completed, you have a whole bunch of output on the console which looks something like that. So you can see that's where the build started, if you remember, and that's the output that it's given us, and it's shown us where it's issued an SSL certificate and other various status messages from the build process. Now the URL that we want to look at for this particular deployment is there, and the username and password for the Joomla application that are set by default are there. So if I just copy the password and remember the username that as it's set there, go to my browser, go to that URL, and if I go to the administrator area of my Joomla application, then I need to put in that username and the password that I copied, and then it will ask me to reset the password to what I want it to be rather than the default one. So I just type a password of my own choosing in there, save that, and then my Joomla application is ready to be enhanced or extended or made into an application that people would want to use. So you could see from the Exoscale console that there's a database machine running now and a web server, and that was all produced automatically through the build process. Okay, thanks for listening.